This is my second video on Scotland's poverty-related attainment gap. I hope you enjoyed the last one. Fraser made an interesting point. Fraser is saying, has all the money therefore been wasted because we seem to be back at square one? Well, not necessarily. Suppose, for example, Scotland's attainment gap, as shown by this graph, has remained constant for the past 40 years. Then we start taking data and we notice that there are a problem here. Let's spend billions to solve this problem. So they do spend the money, and you can actually see how the attainment gap has got less. And this seems to be what's happened. Until the pandemic struck, then there was an uptick again. But it doesn't mean to say the money has not been well spent. What we can say is it's never had a sustainable effect, but if it hadn't been spent, the attainment gap would probably be a lot worse today than it would have been if the money had not been spent. One reason why I think the poverty-related attainment gap exists in Scotland is chiefly due to cultural problems. For example, you can see things through different lenses or from different perspectives or points of view. My point of view was always this: I saw things from a philosophical point of view. I always saw education from a philosophical point of view. I was interested in what was right and what was wrong, according to my understanding. They may be limited in many respects. That doesn't get you very far in Scottish education. No, you've got to be interested in the politics of education. You need to have the communication skills that make it look like you know what you're talking about. You can present problems in such a way that makes these problems look better than they actually are. So negative statistics come in. If you can discuss these negative statistics in such a way that they're not that bad after all, then the sky is the limit in Scottish education. I don't even know if that's in the public interest, but apparently people think that's the way we go. So democracy, fine. But the irony is this So these people are there because of their political skills. But then we've got a very difficult educational problem to solve, and they're the ones that we ask. But wait now, when they were in the job, the attainment gap arose. So they never had the solutions for it then. In fact, maybe even the decisions that they were making made it worse. So why would you ask those people, the leadership figures? This is the irony. The leadership figures created the attainment gap, and they're the ones we ask to solve it. That's a great irony. Now, this particular cultural problem has arisen because of the way we have historically seen things. See, we're not animated, Scottish educational leaders are not animated by attainment gaps. What animates them is National Attainment League tables. This is where the energy is, this is where the focus is, and this is where the political pressures lie. And they're well-minded, because of the way they think, they're well-minded to think about that sort of thing and do something about it. It's National Attainment League tables is where our chief interest lies, it seems to me. What the newspaper do is this: they got all the data in, they got all the schools, and they put the schools in order from the school number 1 to school number 342. School number 1 has achieved the best SQA results, and school number 342 have received the poorest education results. I've got no problem with that. If newspapers want to print these things, they can't print these things. If politicians want to encourage newspapers to print these things, encourage newspapers, they can do it like that. I've got no interest in that. But where I become very, very concerned, and we all should become very, very concerned now, is the commentaries that newspapers pass. Apparently, schools of 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 are the best schools in Scotland, according to this table. And schools 322 to 342, well, they're the worst schools in Scotland, the newspapers tell us without any irony. Now that is false. That is demonstrably false for many, many, many reasons. It's false. Now the problem is this: there are too many people in education who think that these tables have got some meaning, and they pass commentary in an official capacity on the TV and the radio. They will pass commentary on these things that legitimises something that's essentially a piece of nonsense. And if they legitimise something that's essentially a piece of nonsense, that will completely distort our thinking, and we end up with this attainment gap. There are many, many reasons why children can pass exams, but they're not all educational, and some of them are anti-intellectual. And until we get our thinking on these things clear, absolutely clear, there will always be a larger attainment gap in Scotland than it should be. That doesn't just cause problems for the poorest in society, it also causes problems for the richest in society. And that is, I say that now, the reasons for this would be another video. But until we get our thinking clear, let the newspapers print it like they don't know any better. Newspaper people do not know any better. Let them print it like politicians don't know any better. But we are the educational experts. There are not enough people in education that I can see through these things, and that was always a concern of mine. It was quite a serious concern of mine. Until we think clearly, we will always have these problems. We will not have problems to seek in the future, and that's a concern of mine. I'm not quite finished with the attainment gap quite yet, but there's a small matter of a 2-week holiday I have to attend to. So I'm off to Malta for a couple of weeks. So the chances are my next video being on Malta are probably 100%. Meanwhile, enjoy your holidays, and I'll see you all very, very soon. And of course, thanks for watching the Young Scottish